So here we have the Jumper T20S running 2.4 gigahertz on ELRS at 1 watt max output. We have 4 switches on the top with 2 rubber grommets here, which could be expandable, I guess. On the front as well, we have a small OLED screen with 4 trim switches. And then we have 2 pots at the bottom, 2 sliders, and 6 programmable switches with our programming wheel, and then our 3 buttons here as well. With the gimbals as well, these are the RDC 90 gimbals. They are fully adjustable gimbals. We have 4 screws here to adjust the horizontal movement. You can restrict that or make it more. And then these here will adjust the overall travel of your elevator, and same goes for the other side. So looking at the back of the radio, we have a giant heat sink on the back with a CNC plate that you can buy separately that I have mounted. You have a XT30 on the back for an external power for your modules and your data port for the modules. On the top as well, which I didn't mention earlier, you have 2 latching switches here, which sort of latch on the end of the switch, not in the middle. So you have to latch them right about there. And then we have 2 wheels on the top as well, with an indentation in the center, which you can only just about feel. On the battery bay as well, I have mounted a Radio Master Lion pack, which is 5000 milliamp 2 cell pack. It does come with a caddy, which I'll show you now, 2 seconds. It does come with this that you can use if you want, but I decided just to go with the pack because I had it lying around, and to be honest, it fits in there pretty good. So that's that. Forgot to mention as well, the antenna, it folds in and out, and you can rotate it 90 degrees so that you've got your antenna like that, which is great for portability. Okay, so looking at the gimbals on the Jumper T20S, you can see on the front of it, it is a full CNC front end plate, and the actual gimbal here looks like a CNC. I'm not 100% sure these are fully CNC. I don't think they are. Only the front section is CNC, so you can't really compare them to the AG01 gimbals. Plus these are pots, not Hall sensors. Some may agree that these are worse gimbals than a pot, but you know, some of Futaba radios, if not all of Futaba radios, are running pots, so that's debatable. I don't really want to get into that, but the overall feel of these gimbals is nice. It's very smooth feeling. It's not too tight like my Radio Master TX16 when I had this in the box. Out of the box, the overall gimbal feel of this was extremely stiff and tight feeling, but you know, you can adjust the gimbals fully on this, where this one you have to remove the back plate to adjust the spring tensions, but you can adjust the overall throw and travel of the gimbals just by removing these 2 plates here and then adjusting these screws here to give you more throw. But if I was to choose which gimbal do I like the most, it would definitely be these. I don't have the AG01s to compare, but these gimbals here feel a lot nicer and more rigid. When you look at these up close, let me zoom in, sorry, not zoom, get focus in a bit. If I push the gimbal in the corner, you can see there is some sort of flex there, and down at the bottom, flex. So there is questionable amount of flex there, but you know, it should be good enough for what I want it for travel radio at the end of the day. When you look at the Radio Master gimbals, if I jam them in the corner, you can see that they are very solid, not much flex in them at all, which is good. So yeah, 2 different radios though. This one is massive, this one half the size. So can you compare them? Well, that's up to you. So talking about the switches and the pots on this radio, the 4 switches on the top feel just as good as my Radio Master. No complaints there. The sliders on the bottom, which I'll never use anyway, they feel okay, not the best, but and then the pots in the center, they feel just okay. There's no latch in the center of them, so you'll never know where that center point is when you're flying. And then you've got your 6 switches at the bottom, buttons, sorry, and they feel fine. You can put stickers on these as well, which come with the radio. The switches on the top, move that out of the way, these feel fine. I've seen people complain about these, but personally, the way I hold the transmitter, they fit pretty perfect with my fingers, so that's where my finger would sit normally, so that's spot on, to be honest with you, for the way I hold the radio. Some people might disagree and say that the switch needs to be pressed in the center, not on the end, but yeah, it feels pretty good to me. So the wheels on the back as well, I probably won't use these. You know, the main things I'll be using is switches, but the quality on these is a bit questionable. I wish they had a better indentation in the center so that you can feel where that center point is, but what they have done, you can barely feel that notch, which is a bit of a pain, but like I said, I don't use them, so it's not really an issue for me. So taking a quick look at the screen on the Jumper T20, you can see that it has a very dark contrast to the screen. All the information you need to see is all white with a black contrast background, which I think is great because in the daylight you won't have any issues seeing the screen. The only problem you might have is actually reading it, as it's kind of small, but for me it does the job, and that's all that matters. So let's talk about the 2 front speakers on the front of the radio. They are just about as quiet as the TX16, so if you turn it on,
welcome to HTX.
I don't know if you can hear that, but that is pretty quiet, and that is on the highest volume setting, which is a bit of a shame. But if I can compare these two to the TX16, if I turn that on,
Welcome to HTX. Throttle warning. Switch warning. Throttle hold. Idle up 1. Throttle active.
so that's the TX16,
Throttle hold.
and here is the Jumper TX16,
Throttle active. Throttle hold.
Jumper.
Disarmed.
So you can see that they're pretty much about the same with audio quality and sound volume, which is a bit of a shame. The pair of these could do with a better speaker and be a louder, but you know, I can hear it, so it's not the end of the world. You know, if you have trouble with hearing, then this might not be for you. So here I have the Jumper T20 and the Radio Master Pocket next to each other to compare the sizes of them. I personally don't believe these are comparable radios, as these are much larger gimbals for a start, and these are very small budget gimbals, but they feel great in the hands, even for someone like me who is hybrid pinch, with the fingers on the top, fingers on the top edge of the sticks and then thumbs on the top like that, and it feels pretty much great in hands, nice and small and compact. Really great for taking out with you and throwing in the bag and not worrying about it getting broken. And obviously you've got these stick holes in the back where you can put your sticks, which is brilliant. But this one doesn't work. When I received this radio, it's sort of died on me. I put my Crossfire module in the back, I turned on the radio, turned the protocol over to Crossfire, and I had smoke coming from the button area here. Radio Master is going to replace the motherboard on this, so my review or outlook on this will be delayed until then. But this is why I have bought this in the meantime. And to be honest, I much prefer this radio over this one. Simple fact being is it's got full-size gimbals compared to this one, and it feels a little bit better in the hands because it's larger. And the other thing as well, which was the main selling point for me, was that I could mount my Crossfire Lite to the back of this and then power it through that XT30, which is perfect for what I need it for. So this have took a win in my eyes over the Pocket, but that's not to say that I would never use this. This is brilliant for hiking, chucking in the bag and on the go sort of thing, and it doesn't weigh a lot, so brilliant. Can't fault this radio at all, other than the fact that it doesn't work. But once I get a new motherboard, that'll be fine. So here is the difference in size between the two. And then we got the TX16 here, which is much larger compared to, both of them. To put it in perspective for you, if you're in a debate which one to get, if size is not an issue, definitely choose the TX16. If you want something more portable, this is a good option. Or if you want something you can just throw about and not worry about it getting damaged or switches breaking, then this is the one to have. So a quick overview of the Jumper T20. My overall thoughts of the radio from having it a few days and looking over it and see the quality of it. Personally, I was contemplating whether to get this. Jumper doesn't have a very good reputation when it comes to quality and problems with their radios, so I was a bit skeptical myself, but after getting it, I think this is a really nice radio. Its quality is not up to the standards of Radio Master, but it's definitely high quality and it's everything that I need for a travel radio personally. 4 switches on the top, that's all I need. These dials at the bottom, I don't need those. The switches on the back, I may use them, may not, and the wheels, I don't need them either, so it suits me pretty perfect. The best part about it for me was the fact that I could mount my Crossfire Lite on the back of this. The only issue I have right now is I do not have the pin-out wiring diagram for this port here, so I don't know how to wire up my Crossfire Lite. If anyone knows, that'd be great. The external XT30 as well, which is a benefit because on my Crossfire Lite I tend to run that onto the back of here when I'm running more than 1 watt, which is great because everything I use is Crossfire. I personally do not use ELRS just because I'm solely invested in Crossfire myself, but I'll always have this transmitter if I wanted to try ELRS, which is great. And also the Radio Master Pocket is ELRS as well, so that's an also bonus. The quality of the radio could be a bit better. These dials here, I wish they had a notch in the center like the Radio Master, so if I turn that you get full travel, but on the Radio Master ones at the top they got like a latch in at the center. That would have been nice touch to have on the Jumper. The switches on the top here, I think these are perfect for my personal way I hold the transmitter. A lot of people don't like it, but for me it's great. The only problem I have is those wheels at the top. The notch should have been made a little bit better in the center because you cannot feel where that notch is. So when you fly in, there is very little chance of actually finding it. I think the left one is slightly better. I can feel that one more to the right, but it would have been nice if that notch was a little more stronger sort of thing, so you knew what it was. These 6 switches on the bottom, I personally won't use them, but if you need them, there's always a bonus to have them there. And then these dials here, well, they're useless to me anyway. So, but the main thing about a radio for me is how does it feel in the hands, and this feels pretty good. I have no complaints about how the way this feels in my hands at all. In fact, it fits in my hands pretty perfect. If anything, it fits better than the TX16S, because that's quite big in comparison. But if you're a thumber, perfect. If you are a hybrid thumber, even better. You know, that's the way I hold it. I showed you earlier, and there's no way that I'm going to be dropping that radio. If you're a pincher, it might be a little more trickier, you know, but you can adapt. Your brain can adapt, so it might not be a problem for you. Would I recommend this transmitter? Yes, definitely. Feels great, looks great, and it's always nice to have another transmitter. So yeah, if you could take anything away from this, let me know in the comments. If you can subscribe as well to my YouTube channel, that would always help. Until next time, I'll see you again. Cheers.